Welcome back to another reaction for Akane-banashi episode 11.
いや、何ぶっこんでんだよ、この子。
今日の出場者全員破門です。
例の破門騒動について一生師匠はこの6年一切答えてなかったのに。
So she's not the first one to question it. Interesting. And he seems to have planned
可
something.
能であれば彼女と2人にしてもらえませんか。
はい。すみません、取材の皆様、ご退出をお願いします。
I assumed this was all needed, right? I assumed this was like a big publicity stunt to get the young generation coming. However, it also felt like whenever the question got asked by her, that something he planned worked. Again, it feels like that maybe the expulsion was to foster a new generation of very emotionally invested people.
失礼します。
さて、シグマに聞いてこいと言われたか。何を驚くことがある。誰の弟子かも見抜けないふぬけだと思っていたかい。
さすがですね。でも師匠は関係ない。私が知りたくて聞いてるんです。
なぜそんなことを知りたい。
私の夫は荒川慎太。あんたが破門宣告した落語家だ。
そうか。君はあの場にいたのか。
Okay, so I was wrong. So there wasn't seemingly no plan behind that. Okay. This is going to be interesting.
もちろん。
君はその講座を見てどう思った。
どうもこうも。あの歓声が全てでしょ。あれは間違いなく真打ちの芸だった。
本当に心からそう言えるか。
いや、私は落語家なもんでね、適当なことをペラペラ喋るしか能がない。
枕はちょっと硬かった。でもそれは仕方ないっていうか、人生がかかってる講座だし。それにだからこそ頑張れって気持ちで見れた。私もお客さんもそう。それがあの歓声につながったわけで。
じゃあ聞くが、客に応援されるのが真打ちの芸か。聞き手に硬さを蹴取られ、同情され、あまつさえ応援されるのが芸を極めし者の講座か。落語に限らず音楽や他の芸能にも言えることだが、芸の後に応援がついてくるのであり、応援が芸に先立つのは未熟さの証拠。真打ちとは芸を極めた落語家の最高位。講座に弱さが垣間見える者にその地位がふさわしいと思うか。
I mean, if we take a step back and we follow his logic, I mean, okay, I can see where he's coming from. He's like, hey, you should be able to stand on your own and your art should bring people to support you and not to the support before you showcase your art. I mean, you probably know what he meant. And I can see that. It's not like I disagree. And she also did say that he did struggle a little bit which sure could have been because of the big day. And if we go by his logic, I could then be like, okay, I can see why you would be unwilling to give him the promotion to Shinichi, whatever the highest rank is. Okay, I can see the logic behind that. However, I don't see the logic in expelling him at all. Because, sure, let's say he did a poor job or he didn't really live up to the rank. Let him train a couple more years, let him come back, and then give him another chance. Maybe then he has matured enough, he has mastered the art enough to then be on that level that you want him to be. However, by expelling him, you have removed someone who potentially could have reached that level forever. So I don't know why you did that. Again, we only have the reasoning he gave us at the moment. Maybe there's more reasoning. Maybe he's like, hey, you only have like 5 years as my apprentice, and you have to get to the rank or you get expelled. Could be, we don't know. The reasoning he gave us at the moment is just, hey, he's not worthy of the promotion. Okay. I can totally accept that reasoning. I don't see why you had to expel him.
私はね、憂えているんだよ。落語家がメディアを席巻していたのは過去の話。落語家を10人以上知ってる人は少ないだろう。落語を見に行ったことがあるとなればさらに少ない。多種多様なエンターテインメントがあふれる昨今において、一つの芸能に客を引き込む労力は今までと比べ物にならない。落語という文化をより大きく発展させるために、落語家に求められるのは何だと思う？
何？すごい！魔法みたいだ。見た人を引き込む芸。
そうだ。鍛え抜かれた圧倒的なパフォーマンスにこそ客は感動、興奮し、熱狂が生まれる。反対に一度でも未熟なものを良しとすれば、芸の質は落ち、文化は衰退する。故に荒川の真打ちに求められるのは、大衆を振り向かせる強靭な芸。自分の芸すら信じられないものが登れる頂ではない。
随分な言い草ですね。
当然だ。落語家は芸人であるとともに伝統芸能の担い手。先人たちから受け継いだ芸を守り、磨き、次の世代につなぐのが今を生きる落語家の責務。落語を弱くする者は荒川にはいらん。
そういう理由だったのか。
Again, I mean, he just explains the reasoning not to give him a promotion. Now he's like, okay, someone who would weaken that is not welcome. I mean, that is why you are training them, right? Because guess what? You have a new trainee. He's going to weaken it. He's going to suck. He's not going to live up to your expectations. That is why you train them. And you train and train and train until he gets to that point where you are like, okay, now you are ready. But that is the point. You just expelled him without giving him that room to grow further that he could have done. It doesn't mean that he may have reached that level at some point. However, by just expelling him, and I believe that he expelled a lot of people, all of them are all their possible future is gone. Maybe 1 or 2 of them could have reached that level and could have furthered Rakugo, but you more or less destroyed all that. You are detrimental to the growth of the art form, essentially, by that one stupid decision.
厳しいけど言ってることはよくわかる。 厳しさも文化を守るため第一人者としての矜持か。とはいえやっぱり恐ろしい人だ。文化を守るためとはいえ一門の弟子に対してここまで非情な判断を下すなんて、まさに芸に生きる修羅。
そうですか。よかった。あなたは考えが信念がある人で、気まぐれやパフォーマンスだとかそんなくだらない理由じゃなくて。
そうか。
でも一番良かったのは、それでも私は夫の芸を信じてる。認めさせますよ、あなたが切り捨てた芸で。ありがとうございました。失礼します。
I mean, from the very beginning, it felt like it was going to go this way, where she is going to try to prove him wrong with the art that her dad left behind. Again, I don't like his explanation because he had a lot of explanations. Right here, like, let's say 10 sentences. 9 of them were all supporting his idea of not promoting him. And there was like one sentence which is like, oh, is this my reason for expulsion? It is just very weak. Again, not giving him the promotion. I can totally see where he's coming from. But expelling them is just, I don't see the benefit at all.
私もよかったよ。それこそ私の望むところだ。
No eavesdropping. Bad boy.
よくわかった。私の競合が誰なのか。あらゆる面で彼女の上に行く。それがカラク杯で私が主役になるための最低条件。何が競合？相手にもなっとらんやんか。
Guess what? She's doing this non-stop every day. You, on the other hand, are doing like voiceover and acting, and I believe you are doing like ad shooting. So if you were to spend all your time on Rakugo as well, maybe you were on the same level. But it's a little bit arrogant to be like, why can't I be as good as you? You spend like 100 hours a month doing training this. I do it 10 hours. I want to be as good as you. If you spend as much time, you may get as good. But you are not. You have a lot of other stuff. This was mostly trying to promote yourself, so you get more jobs. I mean, it's a solid idea. There is not, most likely there's not a lot of avenues you can use to promote yourself that are not used by other people. So this is the least competitive way. Didn't really work, so you need to try other ways. I don't know. Start streaming, start social media accounts, start like AMAs. I don't know what you can do.
へえ、もしかして負けん気が強いタイプ？いいじゃない。
荒川一見。
Someone is recruiting her. I mean, smart. Very smart, because this is, I mean, it was not a high school competition, it was a college competition, right? But this year they also expanded this to high schooler. So it makes sense. There are probably a lot of people that are doing this as a hobby or just getting into it. It makes sense for the big guys to then go around recruiting people.
師匠。
少し時間あるかな。なあ翔平よ、古典で有名な落語家って誰よ。荒川一生以外で。
いろいろいるけどやっぱ覇者賢章、三名亭演奏師匠じゃない？
Okay, so he's training him.
からし？
So we get the rivalries going, and everyone goes to other people. He's going to the bald guy. She is most likely going to that recruiter. Okay, so we get to see some of the prominent figures we are going to most likely see multiple times in the future.
どういうつもりですか？立ち聞きなんて。
すみません。
言葉選んで喋るのも骨が折れる。
お疲れ様でした。
海星、あの嬢ちゃんのことなんで黙ってた？お前なら誰の弟子かくらい見抜けるだろう。
その方が楽しんでいただけるかと。
つまらねえ気を回しやがって。どこの誰が相手だろうと俺が聞くのは芸だけだ。無論お前でもな。
今日は負けたけどすぐに追いついてやりますから、覚悟してくださいね。
心得ています。
にしてもあの野郎シグマの芸を未だ幻を追うか。器に足る資質かな。
Honestly, how this is all set up, this feels like the final episode, but I assume we have one more. Because episode 11, and there's probably 12. Because we have all the rivals, they get set up with their master Rakugoga, I believe they're called. I do not remember exactly. We have resolved this situation. She has won the competition, so we are probably going back. We get maybe some wisdom told to us or taught to us. We probably have also a little bit of a meeting with mom and dad. Maybe the teacher as well. So this feels like the final episode somehow. But I guess it's not.
優勝したのにずっと浮かない顔。一生さんと何を話したのかはさすがに聞けないけど、おそらくかなりきついことを言われたんでしょう。あんなに会場を沸かせたのに。落語って厳しい世界なのね。
It is also interesting because the teacher came off at the very beginning as very, you know, like one of the bad teachers, but she does care about her. She's just very caring. She just wants the best for her student.
師匠さんの家に報告に行くのはわかるんですが、なんで私も？
いや、どうしても会いたいって。
師匠が私に？
師匠なら留守だよ。仕事だってさ。もう少ししたら帰ってくるんじゃない？
What do you mean soon? Like half an hour or an hour? Or do you mean like tomorrow?
どなたですか？
シグマ一門の弟子で最も芸歴が長い俺や小熊兄さん、教授兄さんの兄弟子、荒川マイケル兄さんです。
聞いたよ。学生落語大会に出たんだって？釣れないな。俺に何も教えてくれないなんてさ。
すみません。
謝ってほしいんじゃない。まずやることがあるでしょって言ってんの。
やること？
乾杯！カラクハイ、お疲れ様！
やることってこれですか？
バ
当たり前でしょ。学生イベントとはいえ10ゲームで優勝しろって難題。しかも審査員は一勝師匠に一見師匠までいたって言うじゃない。厳しい条件の中よくやったよ。それをねぎらわないでどうすんのさ。
でも兄さん何もしてなくない？
Fair enough, yeah. But still, I mean, he's giving you some reward. You did win. You had a handicap. So, you know, the positive reinforcement message, you should get a reward. So your brain gets like more support of, hey, do the difficult stuff. Maybe he also just wants to party. I mean, I can understand that. It's like, let's celebrate. But why? Because I want to drink. That is the only reason.
考えるだけ無駄。飲む口実が欲しいだけだから。
そういうこと。
ちょっとベアちゃん、その言い方ひどくない？
Teddy bear?
ベアちゃん？
そう子グマ、クマ、ベアちゃん、かわいいっしょ。かわいい。兄さん、そのあだ名やめてって言ってるじゃないですか。じゃあグマグマ？でも呼びづらくない？普通に呼んでください。
私お邪魔じゃん。
いやそんな。これはお呼び立てしたのにとんだ失礼を。お邪魔だなんてとんでもない。素敵な女性とご一緒できて幸せです。兄さん、先生相手に何してるんですか？俺
I mean, even more reason to go for her.
を好きになる権利はどの女性にも等しくあるべき。
Excuse me? Every woman should have the same right to fall in love with me, right? I mean, sure. Sure. A little bit egocentric.
だろ？ね
え。浮かない顔だな。
教授兄さん。
大会優勝できたんだってな。おめでとう。ほら、海の大将も喜んでたぞ。
ミクちゃん。
何があったかは知らん。今はそんな気分じゃないのかもしれんが、自分の成功を喜んでくれる人がいる。こんなに幸せなことはないと思う。今ぐらいは悩みの種を忘れてみてもいいんじゃないか。
兄さん。
教授兄さん、どうぞ。おう、すまない。喉がカラカラだったんだ。
教授兄さん。
Was there booze in that? Is he a lightweight?
何飲ませたんですか？
何って俺教授兄さんと言ったらオレンジのお酒だろ。
兄さんお酒飲めないんすよ。
そうだったっけ？いや俺としたことが祝う気持ちが欠けていた。
教授兄さん。
カッポレだ。みんなでカッポレを踊るぞ。
教授兄さん。
酒飲ませたでしょ。教授、あれで酒乱なんだよ。
そうなんですか？
じゃあ俺、何線引くね。
あかね、ほらカッポレだ。寄せの踊りの一つだ。行くぞ。
師匠。
お前たち、なんだこの低たらくは。
We are partying.
踊るなら本気でやれ。半端にやるな。
そっち。
当然でしょう。芸人たるもの、楽しむのも楽しませるのも全力でやらないとね。
Okay.
アカネルは楽器や踊りは？
アカネル？いや、何も。
歌や踊り、鳴り物に曲芸。芸に幅があるからできることもある。話だけ稽古すれば極められるほど落語は甘くないよ。まあこれからいろいろ勉強しなきゃだね。
はい。
全力で踊るぞ、あかね。
Okay. I mean, at this point, we have not. Did we? No, I don't. I don't believe we have seen any usage of like music or dance. in Rakugo yet. I don't know if that is something that can be done. But I feel like there is still a lot more you could do in modern day Rakugo. You could do other types of props, as example. I mean, essentially, you are telling a story, right? There are people who are really good at mimicking instruments. And I feel like if you can do that, you could play like instruments and music while you are doing your story to immerse the people more into what is going on. Now, the problem is that you are still telling a story and the story doesn't really stop. So I don't know how you would get the music in as well. Maybe like some beatbox techniques where you can talk while you do some kind of background music. I feel like it could work, but it may not feel as sound.
やっぱり落語家は厳しい世界。
I mean, sure. It may be a somewhat more difficult world. However, Akane is in this world for a long time. She knows what is going on. She knows how hard it is. And she still is trying to pursue a career in this.
ですが、だからこそ素敵な世界でもあるんですね。
Overall, it feels like that there are not a lot of female Rakugo. I do wonder why that is. Specifically, maybe it's just for the story, but in the real world, maybe there are more. It could also be like a traditional thing because I don't really know how Japan handled like the differentiation between the genders. Were women allowed to do like Rakugo early on? I assume not. I assume it was only allowed to be done by men. So this may have been something that got carried over to modern day, where women are still discriminated against. Again, just it is just what I assume is why we don't have too many women in Rakugo, at least in the show. I don't know about real life. Also, I am wondering, because Rakugo is a very old art form, I'm wondering, could you not have like two Rakugo on the stage? And both of them have like work together in a story? Would that not work as well? Like here with the whole dance. The dance would work. You could maybe have like a song which has one of the stories in it, and you could perform like a dance to, I don't know what exactly you could do, but that would be a possibility. You need someone who is doing the music though. I mean, you could have like music over some recording going, maybe. I'm just wondering. I feel like there is more potential with modern technology, similar to the guy that was changing the stories for modern viewers, like changing stuff to smartphone and whatever. I feel like there is still more potential. Maybe the show would go into there later on. It may also be just not allowed because of tradition.
6年前の破門騒動は荒川一生が今の落語界に打ったくさびだった。その時破門された父の背中を追う少女、いきなり唐久杯優勝で鮮烈デビューか。さすがに立ち聞きした話を記事にするわけにはいかないよな。だけど
I mean, first off, you can just say it's hearsay. However, Japan, different rules. Maybe you are not allowed.
どんどん盛り上げて、できれば落語界期待のスーパールーキー登場ってとこまでお願いしたいんですがね。外野なりにせいぜい盛り上げさせてもらうよ。兄さん、俺は先輩としての藩を兄弟子の背中ってやつを。
そうだね。
お金にはね。
兄さん、気をつけて。
気をつけようね。
てんでからもめ。
てやんでね。
酔いすぎ。
ですね。
I'm guessing we are sharing the answer.
師匠。
おお、まだ残ってたか。例の唐久杯、勝ってきたそうだな。よくやった。
荒川一生から聞きました。夫の破門の理由。
そうか。茜、ここに座りなさい。少し話そうか。
はい。
さて何から話そうか。
師匠は夫の破門の理由を。
いや、だが落語を審査した上でのことだろう。あの男は昔から頑固で自分勝手で傍若無人で、それでいて落語にだけは正直な男だった。まあどんな理由があってもあの破門宣言は納得できんがな。お前も知っているだろうが、師匠に破門されたら落語家は廃業するのが通例だが、破門後に他の一門に弟子入りを許され落語家を続けている者もいなくはない。まあ本来あるまじきことだがな。事実あの日破門された後、別の一門に入り直し真打ちになった者もいる。
じゃあ夫だって。
ああ、落語家を続けられる目はあった。
Yeah, but it sounds like there's a pretty big stigma about that, where it's like, yeah, but you are going to be seen as weird for pursuing it. However, we also know that it sounded like this was the last try for her dad behind the scenes, naturally, because it was a very costly profession he was pursuing, and the mom had to more or less shoulder the whole cost. So it may have been a good way to cut ties and start providing a more stable life for his family.
だが新太は確かに破門は免れない。だが新太ならぜひと言ってくれている師匠方も多かった。廃業せずとも他の一門で落語家を続ける道も。
寂しいこと言わないでくださいよ。
弟子入りとは師匠と親子の関係を結ぶようなもの。僕は落語家である前に荒川シグマの弟子でいたいんです。不出来な弟子で申し訳ありません。
意味わかんない。よその一問でも何でもいいから落語家を続けてほしかった。って弟子入り修行前の私なら言ってたと思う。でも今は夫の気持ち少しわかるなって。今聞けてよかったです。それに夫らしいなっていうか、私知ってましたから、夫が師匠のことを慕ってたってこと。
I don't. This is also a part I don't really understand then, because he was under Arakawa, our now master, right? He was under him training. But he got expelled by Ichio guy? Is he over Arakawa? Is he responsible for that? Does he have the power to do that? To just expel apprentices of other schools? I don't really know how this happened, but I guess it was totally fine. No one seemed to be trying to contest the expulsion, so at least not in that regard.
夫は言ってましたしね。俺がシグマの芸を継承するんだって。家にも師匠のことが書かれた本たくさんありましたし、師匠の芸も尊敬してたんだなって。よくわかる。わかるからこそ強くなる気持ちもある。師匠、これからもご指導ご鞭達のほどよろしくお願いします。
真打ちまでまだまだ先は長いぞ。
いいですね。
I mean, she's very young.
望むところですよ。
Again, it feels like the last episode, right? Look, it feels like a final episode. But I guess it's not.
マイケル兄さん、三味線弾けるんですね。私も習った方がいいですよね。
まあ落語に絶対必要ってわけじゃ
So you can use it for it?
ないけ
Okay.
どね。いわゆる歌舞音曲。歌や踊りや楽器は身につけておくことで自分の芸の幅がいろいろと広がるでしょ。はい。例えば稽古屋なんて話は落語に歌の師匠が出てくるから歌えないとやれないよね。
あ、それ見たことあります。海瀬兄さんの講座で。
話に直接絡まなくても当時の人たちの了見を知る手がかりにもなるし。
了見？
気分が良くなれば長唄や都々逸を歌うし、酒を飲んで陽気になればカッポレを踊る。それが落語ワールドの日常だから。
そっか。よし、絶対全部身につけてやる。
いいね、あかねる。その決意を祝って俺のとっておきの芸を見せてあげよう。It's showtime!
すっごい。落語家やめてもやっていけそう。
So yeah, we can use different stuff for Rakugo now. He did specify singing, so okay, I can see that. But it seems like you may be able to use stuff like Shima-sen or whatever they were talking about, the instrument, as maybe a prop to further the story. It makes sense that you would do that. Which also means that other props could be allowed. Again, I feel like there's a lot of potential that Rakugo still has on the table that you could use or get, whatever. But yeah, this felt like the final episode. We solved, we won the competition. We got to ask the big boss why the explosion. Now he gave a lot of answers why he wouldn't want to promote her dad. Sure. Only one of them was like, yeah, that is why I expelled them, which I feel like pretty weak. Explosion, fine. The not promoting, fine. Explosion, very weak, in my opinion. We then saw that our rivals in the competition seem to now also enter the Rakugo world, potentially, under different masters. So we are going to probably see them later on again. We then had a little get together with our group. We got to talk to our master again. We got a little bit more background that her dad could have continued, but he didn't want to only become a Rakugo. He wanted to become a Rakugo or the higher rank under the tutelage of Arakawa. That is how high high his regard was towards him. It did feel like a final episode. But there's the next episode. The title is Graduation. I guess we are leaving school and fully diving into the Rakugo world.